It's your boy, U-Goboy. That's Mongo, all right? This is the U-Goboy podcast channel. But before we start, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got unfiltered, authentic conversations. We got sports talk. We got drops. Oh, yeah. So, Mongo, what should they do?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Yahtzee. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket with Sagoon not being traded, with Jabari Smith not being traded, with Reed Shepherd, he's going to play at some point, you assume, and with Amen Thompson, the best player on the team. Let me say that one more time on camera. Amen Thompson, the best player on the Rockets right now. They didn't have to move heaven and earth.
You go, boy.
Yo, 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 yo. Did not adjust your TV sets. Sports talk. That's Mongo. He's got a beard. That's me. The boys are back in town. Episode 66 of the U-Goboy podcast. Sports talk coming at ya. Yahtzee.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
Yo, 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 Martin. I'm just like, I want cannons. I want cannons and Yahtzees. That's all. Cannons and Yahtzees. Get Bailey Yahtzees. The only Yahtzees that matter.
Yahtzee.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yahtzee.
Yes,
Yahtzee.
yes,
Yahtzee.
yes. Keep going. Cause it's your boy.
You go, boy. You go, boy.
And I'm not here alone. Mongo's in the building. The bearded one. Yes, sir. Jersey is definitely in the building. And this is the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios!
Bravery up!
And lovely
Bravery up!
Garfield, New Jersey, episode 66. And oh yeah, we've got the marvelous one, Mark Perdomo, on the ones and twos. Oh yeah. And if you're wondering about this amazingly spiffy jersey I'm rocking, this belongs to Nigeria's Super Eagles, their national soccer team. I've been in Nigeria for the past week and some change. I just got back a few days ago, visiting some family. It was my first time going in 8 years, and hence the hiatus, which is why you've just been getting shorts and reels. But let's get the full episodes back. The boys are back. It's a lot of sports talk, a lot to talk about. Mongolicious.
Yes.
How you doing, dog?
I'm doing great. Welcome back. I missed you.
Oh yeah.
It was a very lonely booth with you not here. Just kind of sat here for 8 days wondering what was going to happen next. But
it's all good.
Glad to have you back.
It's all good. We're back. We're back. And of course, like the video. Subscribe. Oh yeah, get them can't waits going. Can't waits going. Bart Scott, my boy. Bart Scott, eat your heart out, baby. So a lot to talk about, Mongo. And let's start with the NBA Finals.
All right.
It's over. The Thunder in 7. The Thunder win the NBA championship. Round of applause for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA champions. They're on top of the mountain. SGA, clean sweep. We got league MVP. We got Western Conference MVP. We got Finals MVP. We got All-Star First Team NBA. Put together one of the best all-around seasons in NBA history. And the OKC Thunder, ghosts of Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka, and KD aside, they are your NBA champions. What are you going to remember from this 7-game thrilling finals, or semi-thrilling finals, as they take down the Pacers and become world champions for the first time?
Whew, that's a rough way to ask that question, because within the context of the 7 games, very, very little. To be quite frank, right off the bat, no, classic. The shot of the playoffs was the Halliburton shot in Game 1 against the Knicks, right? Mm-hmm. No Kawhi double bounce or anything like that. I'll remember how wrong I was about these Pacers. I'll say that I had Thunder in 4. I think I took Thunder in 3.
Wow, savage. Savage is going. Thunder in 4 is diabolical.
We actually, I had set our date for the Tuesday after Game 4 for when we were going to record over at New Roads Media, because I didn't think there was a chance we were even seeing 5. So I'll give the Pacers their flowers. To me, though, this is potentially what we're going to remember as sort of the pinnacle of a rough time in the NBA. And I hope I'm wrong about this, but what stands out to me here is and if this comes off sounding like the Grinch who stole the NBA, you can cut me out later on this because
Mr. Grinch.
I can't stress enough. I don't want an injury to ever be taken as anything other than unfortunate. But with that being said, the Tyrese Halliburton injury, which so many people are quick to put an asterisk on this thing, so many people are what if he had stayed healthy? To me, the bigger problem is we are in such a what have you done for me yesterday, world. Not even what have you done for me lately,
Facts.
And Halliburton was being targeted as the face of the league when he upset the Knicks as he was making his run through the East. This is a dude who did not even make the All-Star game.
Don DeMarco.
We had just anointed this guy, and we are so quick to change the face of the NBA from minute to minute, from week to week. And he just gets injured, and now we're not even going to see the guy until late 2026 if we're lucky. And so, in a world where I know they love this idea of the second apron creating parity, and we have that stat: only 9 franchises won during David Stern's 30 years, or I think it's 8 during his 30 years, 9 during Adam Silver's 12 years. They promote parity like it's a good thing. But you need legacies, you need storylines, you need a reason to come back next year. Because right now the NBA is just a glorified March Madness. The regular season means nothing. And just like how we don't, I already forget who won the NCAAs this year. I only know because they talked about it during the draft. And I don't care about, it's Florida, by the way, if you don't remember. If you're listening going, wait, who was it?
Savage.
I don't care, right? I don't care about Florida next year.
Nope.
The same way I don't particularly care about the Pacers next year. And even if Halliburton had been healthy next year, even if the Thunder run it back, which they're going to, recent history says don't bet on them, right? We have a different champion every year.
Yeah.
And so this felt like the pinnacle of what really is a problem, which is we have no legacies, we have no storylines. You can go, this might happen to you in Nigeria, right? You go anywhere in the world, and if you say you're a Yankee fan, you're either welcomed with a hug or hatred, right?
Facts.
Yankees haven't won anything in 16 years, but that's the power of a legacy, whether they're winning or not, right? I'm not saying the NBA needs the Lakers to win 6 times a decade to be successful, but I'm saying you can't have this problem they have the last 7-8 years where, here are 2 new teams in the finals I don't particularly care about, can't wait for the draft. It's bad for the long-term health of the NBA, and unfortunately I'll remember this basically from when the Raptors won to when the Thunder won, as just sort of a curious bouncing ball of confusion in the NBA history that I'm hoping ends soon, and ideally the Thunder starting a legacy here could help.
Get those Don DeMarcos going. We got Marvelous on the 1s and 2s. Mongo coming in hot, muy caliente. What I'll say is, when I teed it up to you, the Thunder were supposed to win the championship.
Right.
It was kind of like you one of your popular phrases. It's like you put Madden on auto draft and went to the bar.
Absolutely.
You kind of assume that the Thunder have the best record, they have the best player, they have the best roster. They should have won the championship, and they definitely almost threw it away a few times. It took them 7 games to beat the Nuggets, I believe, and it was although they dominated toward the end with Minnesota, they were going rock'em sock'em robots with Minnesota a few times as well before they took care of business. And I think that I'm with you. I think that I kind of want to get back to actual stars being stars, because again, with the way social media is set up, with the way the debate shows, national media hot take, fake take shows, every single day, every single other game, they're anointing their next guy or whatever, and of course sprinkled in that, why is LeBron not in the finals?
Right, of course.
Like that's the number one trending topic. They're going in. They're going to talk about why LeBron isn't in the finals, and is Dak Prescott going to win the Super Bowl? That is the number 1 and 2 on the call sheet for ESPN and a lot of the fake take shows throughout the entire finals. I'm just like, the preseason hasn't even started yet, and LeBron was one and done. They were bounced out by the Timberwolves in the first round, yet that's just the last main staying power it's still Bron. It's still Bron. And, it's a perfect segue. I love that, because in terms of like legacy and one of the pillars of the league still, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket. Give me some Dom DeMarcos and some Bailey Yahtzees. KD is a Rocket. And I'm loving that as a Houston Rocket fan. And they were the 2 seed this year, doing it by committee. Not a lot of star power, just Ime Udoka doing what he does. He just builds a winning product with not too many stars. But again, to win a championship, you still need some semblance of star power. And that was something the Rockets were missing. That's cured now. That's cured now because, and on top of that, what I love so much before I get to your take about the trade is I felt like they were going to have to basically do what happened with the Nuggets and the Knicks. When the Knicks wanted Melo, and Lord knows they wanted Melo, they mortgaged the farm. Right. And there was just not enough pieces for when Melo did get to the Knicks for them to be a consistent perennial force in a weak Eastern Conference at the time that was, still dominated by the, eventual semi-dynasty, the Heat. With Sengun not being traded, with Jabari Smith not being traded, with Reed Shepherd, he's going to play at some point, you assume. And with Amen Thompson, the best player on the team. Let me say that one more time on camera. Amen Thompson, the best player on the Rockets right now. They didn't have to move heaven and earth because this is a trade that both sides wanted to get done. KD didn't want to go to the Timberwolves. He sure as hell wasn't going to the Knicks. I know, go New York, go New York. I know there were a lot of Knicks fans that thought that was going to happen, but they're the same people that think Zion is going to be a Knick one day. Like, it's just not going to happen, man. KD was never going there. He saw the writing on the wall, and he sees that Houston was the 2 seed by committee. Now with star power, I said this, tell me when I'm telling lies. Give me 2 of those. Tell me when I'm telling lies. I saw that the Western Conference is going to go through OKC and Houston. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. One more for Phil. We should have beat Cena, but Saudi Arabia things. Thanks Paul Levesque. Thanks Triple H. You know what I mean? But that aside, I love this move for the Rockets. They're going to extend him. I think they'll give him 2 more years, $120 million, so $60 million a year at a $60 million clip. I see the Rockets as this championship window. It kind of like they kind of got cracked open last year, getting the 2 seed. It is officially open next season. They have a great opportunity to get out of the West and compete for a championship next year. And KD, who by the way, had a great season with the Phoenix. Phoenix missed the playoffs, I believe. Yep, the complete disaster, fired everybody, head coach and GM included. But KD is still top 5 all-around player in the league. You add that to what Houston already has, and the fact they didn't have to move a lot. This is a win-win for the Rockets. This makes them a championship contender. What do you think, Mongo?
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that for sure. I mean, you look at the last couple of years, you look at the Celtics kind of flirting with a championship before winning a championship. Right. You look at even Indiana having some upsets last year in the playoffs leading to getting to the finals this year. That's kind of what made the Dallas trade, the Luka trade so shocking. They were knocking on the door, and recent history in this no dynasties, era of the NBA says if you get close one year, you're already in consideration for next year, which Houston is. So I mean, even if they just ran it back, they'd be a really trendy pick. But I mean, you look at, this trade makes so much sense for Houston. Jayshawn Tate and Jeff Green are 2 of their unrestricted free agents, which aside from a classic who moment right there. They also needed the small forwards. The fact that those guys were even on the team, let alone won't be on the team. Right. They needed the upgrade there. You do kind of question, or you assume, you had mentioned Reed Shepherd. I'll add Cam Whitmore to the mix.
Facts.
You've got to assume
Dom DeMarco.
That Houston has a ton of faith in those guys. But I think the one thing I'll add here is also when we did our playoff predictions, over on New Roads Media, I had Houston getting bounced in the first round. And part of my problem with them this year was your veteran leadership was the lunatic Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams of should somebody tell Ja Morant to put that gun down fame, right? He was the veteran leader of that team.
And Van Fleet. Sprinkle it with Van Fleet.
But I mean, your guys who were there solely to be leaders, were not guys who gave you any reason historically to trust they could do that. And KD, aside from giving you a starter, aside from giving you a stud, gives you a guy who has demands as a leader and as the veteran face of this team. And everyone has to fall in line to the way he does it now. We saw it with Brooklyn when his buddies went down. He can still carry a game. He can still demand a lot of his buddies defensively. And so I think this is a great ad, not just on the court, but off the court as well for Houston.
Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. This is episode 66 of the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios.
Bravery up.
Lovely Garfield, New Jersey.
You
All right,
go, boy.
So let's keep things going.
I appreciate, by the way, you had time while you were on vacation to count what episode it was, because
Of
last
course.
time we were together, it was
Yeah,
episode
we
late
just
50, maybe 60 something.
Yeah, it was something.
Literally, we were making up numbers.
Something 11:05. But that wasn't the only trade. There was a few trades that went down en route to the draft that we'll recap a little bit. Porzingis is on the move. He's a Hawk, I believe. Drew Holiday, he's on the move as well. He's with the
Blazers.
He's with the Blazers, yes.
But apparently very pissed about it, so we'll see
Not
if that
happy.
holds or not.
yes. So some moves there. What? How do you feel about the Porzingis trade? How do you feel about the Holiday trade? How do you feel about those two respective? Which one has caught your attention more?
The Porzingis one has caught my attention more, although I need to give a huge incomplete grade on that one. The reason why, and we'll talk draft in a little bit here. The Hawks, I love what the Hawks did in the draft. I love that they absolutely fleeced the Pelicans moving down and getting extra picks and whatnot. But if they had just stayed where they were, they could have still got Asa Newell at 22, which they moved in the Porzingis pick. They ended up getting him at 23. And the pick that they moved down from was Derek Queen. So they still could have got an offense first big and Asa Newell had they done nothing. And then they would have still had Terrence Mann and Georges Niang on their bench. So, they got shallower to get what they ultimately wanted anyway, which was a 4 and a 5 off the bench. So, more work to be done. Will they re-sign Karis LeVert? Who will they bring in to be those backup wings that they lost in that trade? But overall, Atlanta set out what they did, set out to do, which was, get an extra big and get more firepower on offense. And so that one gets my attention more. Also because, Orlando, New York, and kind of Indiana at the top of the East right now, with Boston just jettisoning its whole team into the sun.
Yeah.
With Milwaukee, you're not sure what they're going to do with Giannis. Even if with Giannis, they have some injuries there they're dealing with. You don't know if Philly's going to come, how healthy Philly's going to come back.
And if Embiid is going to get moved at some point,
right,
which
if
is
Embiid
still
gets moved,
very, very possible.
Miami has questions of its own. Apparently, Terry Rozier came out and admitted, this is not for me. I don't play Miami-style basketball, so they have problems. So it's a very, very winnable East, which makes that trade more important. Whereas on the flip side, Portland, this probably moves Scoot Henderson to the bench as sort of a Miles McBride type, instant combo guard, offense off the bench, which is where he belongs right now. He can learn from Holiday if Holiday agrees to stay there. Holiday, Sharp, who is it there? It's Kamara, Avdija, and Klingon. That's a pretty good starting five. But at the same time, you're maybe looking to get to the 8 or 9 seed, 10. If you're Portland, that's not moving the needle the way Atlanta now is pretty safely in the top 6 with that move. Whereas Portland is now hoping they can just play a playing game. So you got to like it more for Atlanta because it does more partly by default with what side of the league they play on. But I do like the deal, for both sides. And then you got to give Boston, obviously, they're the common denominator in both those trades.
Right.
I as a Knicks fan, I have to love it. It's fun to watch them blow it up. We'll see what happens. It looks like it's all money for them. I don't really understand the Hugo Gonzalez pick for them, but it does suggest they're not worried about whatever happens this year. But to me, in the grand scheme of things, Atlanta is probably the most intriguing part of this trade, even if, like I said, you got to kind of give them an eye to see what do they do with the rest of that bench.
Like the video. Let's keep it going with, again, you mentioned it in passing, Giannis doesn't get moved. Now, the Bucks are not in contention for a championship.
Correct.
And if I'm him, I kind of dig in and start to facilitate this thing on my end, because I don't know what they're going to try to sell to him. Are they going to trade back for Middleton to come back? Are they going to re-sign their head coach who they let go a couple of years after they won the championship, and Budenhauser or whatever, the Bulldozer, whatever the guy's name is? Are they going to turn back the hands of time? Because Lillard is... I love Dame time. I do, but can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he's part of the long list of guards we're not going to see for most of, if not all of next year.
Facts. His health it was a problem in Portland. It's a problem in Milwaukee. Their goal was to have that as being their 1-2 punch, and very similar to the situation that's going on with your beloved Knicks. I don't see Cat and Brunson as a fit to win a championship. I just don't think they play well together. And you guys still don't have a head coach. That's a whole nother can of worms right there. But with Giannis and Lillard, even when healthy, I don't see that as a fit. And if I'm Giannis, I pull the KD card. Get me out of here.
Right.
I brought you guys a championship. I'll have a statue one day in Milwaukee. You guys, I'm the best Buck since Oscar Robertson and Lou Alcindor. That goes without saying. I've done my part. Let me get my 50-piece of Chick-fil-A nuggets from the drive-thru, and let me be on my merry way. I gave you a Larry O'Brien trophy, you know what I mean? Because he's not winning in Milwaukee. It's just not happening. So if it doesn't happen this offseason, same bat time, same bat channel. Don't be shocked if Giannis, as well as Embiid, who also can't stay healthy. I'm sorry, Embiid Odin, you know what I mean? Shades of Greg Oden, chronic knee issues, can't stay healthy. But again, when healthy, is a solid player, is a top-tier player. But again, the difference sticking with Giannis, he's in his prime. He still has high-level basketball ahead. And honest to God, if Houston wanted to, they could package Sagoon and a bunch of future number ones. I mean, they gave up like 10 twos to get KD.
Right.
Why not? Why not? Because Giannis is going to be on the move, and Embiid are going to be on the move. Tell me when I'm telling lies. How do you feel about that?
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Yeah, I mean, listen, one thing you said there, kind of tangential. I can't stress enough, and I hope everyone knows very clearly where I am on the NBA right now, which is I'm sick and tired of it as a whole.
Savage away. Savage away.
We're not in LeBron's decision. We're going to win 3, 4, 5 generation anymore, right? That was the end of the David Stern lifetime. We have entered the world where, did you win one championship? Yes. Then you checked the boxes, right? That's all you're supposed to win in Adam Silver's stupid, nobody can pay their players era we're living in. So he did what he needed to do to be a lifetime Buck. So, I'm with you there. The real problem right now, really for the Bucks is, this year's draft had a very clear, top 2. Mm-hmm. And the Spurs seemed pretty locked in on Dylan Harper, which I'm okay with. Mm-hmm. And next year, again, you have a very top-heavy. There should be a pretty definite. We'll see how everyone kind of plays in the next year, but a pretty definite top 4. And so, if you're a team like Washington that seems to be actively, pulling a Logan's Run and getting rid of anything above the age of 27, or the Bulls look like they're pretty destined to aim for 10-72.
Savage.
You're not in on giving up next year's first. So you basically do have 2 options. You either need to be a team like Houston that is very confident that the slew of firsts they're giving up are going to be nowhere near. Because, Houston could trade for Giannis, KD could retire, and Houston's still going to win 45, 50 games.
Right.
That's a safe pick to give up next year.
Facts.
So there's not a whole lot of places he can go, and then there's a lot of teams that would love him that just can't afford him right now. Because you see Boston literally giving up literally trading away championship pieces to get away from the second apron. So a lot of teams are out on him. To me, I think the most intriguing one still has to be the Nets. You're in New York. I know it doesn't matter as much in the international world, but I don't believe for a second nobody wants to be in New York. You want to be that team that gets a championship either for the Knicks or before the Knicks, right? That either of those will put you in NBA lore. They have 1,000 draft picks to mess around. They just got all these young guys. The one thing about the net draft, and again we'll talk more draft later, but they got a bunch of guys who surround somebody very nicely. Wild Thing was watching the draft with us over at New Roads.
Love you, Wild Thing.
He said, "Love you, Wild Thing. Congrats on your upcoming nuptials."
Oh yeah, big facts.
He said it was like that episode of Hey Arnold with Pass the Ball to Tucker, where it looks like they're building a team for Cam Thomas to take 50 shots a game, and he's not wrong. So the Nets have something planned, because I love me some Cam Thomas, but you're not relying on Cam Thomas dropping 40 a night. Somebody else needs to be there who can do that. Or else why did we get all these role players? They literally went out and got 3 point guards, a small forward, and a center, all who can handle the rock. To pass to whom, right? So that one intrigues me a lot. But yeah, overall, like I said, one championship is enough to say, okay, we've done what we set out to do in this era, and he's definitely getting moved.
Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're about halfway home here on episode 66 of the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios. And Bravery up! Marv, the hair is perfect. The hair is absolutely perfect.
Look, we've been fairly mellow in this episode. If you're watching for the first time, thank you. We love you. Go back and watch previous episodes. It's Shock Jock City up in here normally.
Facts.
I noticed that too.
It's literally because I'm pissed about the NBA and where
That
we are
too.
as a whole. Like,
That too.
I don't care that this one. We're mourning the loss of the NBA as we know it, and I'm okay with this being somber. I've written a will for the Jets on this channel before. I'll do it for the entire NBA. I don't mind. We are in trouble as basketball fans, and thank goodness we're getting to the draft here because the draft might have been one of the final nails in the proverbial coffin because this was ugly. Go ahead, tee it up. But I'm going right after the NBA on this before we break down anything within the draft. But go ahead, you can tee it up.
I mean, listen, it's post basketball season. We're not in football season yet. So Marv, if you're wondering where the energy is, are you ready for some football? It's not that time yet. It's just not that time. We're not here yet.
There you go.
We're not here yet. But we'll push through. We'll fight on. We'll fight on. Actually, I think it's about that time. Love you, Phil. You should have won the title. It's time for a pipe bomb. Give me the pipe bombs. Give me the pipe bombs. Give me the pipe bombs. Pipe bomb away. Yes. This pipe bomb is brought to you by U-Goboy merch. Grab the hats.
You
Grab the
go,
hats.
boy.
Oh yeah, you see the hoodie. You know, I mean, you can't get this jersey unless you're in Nigeria. This is a 1-of-1. But grab the merch. Link below. And, oh yeah, and I'll take a Chris Tucker. I'll take another Chris Tucker. I'll take another Chris Tucker. Oh yeah, love you, Chris. Rush Hour 5 or 10. Who knows?
Somebody pay that man something.
Somebody pay that man something. And also, shout out the New York Posse as well for sponsoring the show. And Things Galore as well. But we're gonna get. I've got 2 pipe bombs. All right. The first one is coupled with yours. The NBA draft.
Oh my God.
The NBA draft, which I didn't watch, by the way. I had no interest in watching that. Once I saw the Rockets trade away our number 10 overall pick for Kevin Durant's services, I'm like, our draft is complete. Like, we're gonna trade away 5 number 2s, and we're gonna give up our number 10 overall pick, which ended up being Kaman Malik, from Duke.
Which, not to cut off the pipe bomb here, but as a Rocket fan, as you are, and if you're out there as a Rocket
Yes,
fan,
Sirski.
the fact, I thought he was a lock to go top 8, but the fact that he dropped, anyone would have had to take him. Houston would have had to take him. And so the fact that had they not made the KD trade, they were effectively going to be pigeonholed into taking a blue-collar backup center.
Right.
You guys won. I mean,
Right.
you weren't even in the draft, and you
Facts.
arguably won the draft.
So a backup center versus a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you did well.
And top 5 scorer currently.
You did pretty well here.
I think
that worked out well.
I think the Rockets won that one. So let's start right at the top, and then we'll navigate through so the big moves, the big picks in the first round. Let's just focus there. Cooper Flagg goes number 1 overall to the Mavs. So my question to you, Mongo, before we get to other notable picks. So does this atone for the Luka Doncic trade with Anthony Street Clothes Davis? He's due for probably 15 to 20 games a year if he stays healthy. And does this make the Mavs powerhouses in the West within the next 3 years? Because if you're going to tell me no, this is an L. Even though it's the number 1 overall pick, I get it. He's the second coming of Larry Bird and Dirk Nowitzki, but the great white hype. I get it. And love me some Cooper Flagg. Huge Duke fan, by the way, for the record. But is Flagg going to make the Mavs a championship contender within the next 3 years? Because if not, what the hell is going on in Dallas?
How are we defining atone, and how are we defining powerhouse?
I thought the trade. We both agree the trade is a WTF. Mm-hmm. You trade a top 3, not top 5, a top 3 scorer and overall player. Mm-hmm. You trade him because the front office didn't like him. Right. That was the logic. They traded Luka Doncic because the front office was like, yeah, we like you, but we don't love you. So we're going to take a guy who's injury prone instead.
In that sense, it does atone. By accident. I can't. If you're out there going, they didn't know this was going to happen. Yeah, I get how lotteries work. I lose them quite frequently. So it's an accidental atonement. But the biggest problem with Doncic, WTF's the right thing, because it's the right way to say. Because what are we doing? Where are we going? What's the face of this franchise? Well, Cooper Flagg accidentally checks off a lot of those boxes. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, I mean, you just saw 5 Duke starters get drafted into the league, right? Cooper Flagg is going to, naturally have more in common with a lot more of the NBA than Doncic is by virtue of being American. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just, I don't know how else to say that.
White Anglo-Saxon,
right? I mean, there are less people from Doncic's country in the NBA than Cooper's country. I mean, it's very lean statistics, but it's basic statistics. And so, if you're looking at him, which one would have a better chance of going to All-Star games and talking to other stars and talking to other players and saying, hey, you should come join me in Dallas and that sort of thing, especially in a world where the second apron hell we're living in means, you might have to say, hey, Mark Williams, you're in a Phoenix after two teams, two teams didn't want you. Why don't you come, after Daniel Gafford's contract expires, why don't you come and be my center for 5 years? That kind of conversation. So I do think it actually helps them long term. Now, in the immediate, do I think they're, anything better than 6 to 10 next year in the West? No, and not for the next couple of years. But at the same time, I mean, Houston and the Thunder have built themselves teams here where you're starting the game at what do I do to get to 3?
Facts.
And if Denver keeps Joker and if they, add around him, you're probably saying, how do I get to 4, right?
Facts. Down to Marco.
So if anything, you're kind of resetting the clock here. I mean, I know Doncic isn't old by any means, but Flag is young. I mean, younger. And so you get a couple years back of superstardom, a guy who can be more relatable to the fans, more relatable to the rest of the league. And, so I think it does atone in a lot of ways, even though, again, it was, I can't stress enough, completely an accident, but some atonement there for sure.
Like the video. Let's take a look at some of these other picks. Let's stay in the top 10. We talked about Malik, of course, but let's talk about number 2, Dylan Harper. You couple him now with Fox and Wemby. Does that help? Does that give the Spurs now a potential big 3? Shout out to Rutgers, by the way. Jersey in the building. Let's get your quick take on that. Edgecombe from Baylor. He goes number 3 overall. Again, the 76ers are going to trade Embiid. It's just a matter of when he's going to get moved. But is this now a future star with the 76ers? And Con Knippel. Also, Duke, yet again, he goes to the Hornets. And they also got another Duke player later on in round 2, I believe.
Yeah, Sean James, yeah.
Yes, and James, who's low-key one of my favorite players. And, of course, number 5, before you get to it, number 5, Ace Bailey. Rutgers, again, Jersey in the building. Goes, Rutgers, two Rutgers players in the top 5. Jersey stand up. Dom DeMarco right there. Those top 5 picks, who stands out?
Ooh, we're going to end this with one of my 2 pipe bombs. You're not getting off the hook, NBA. You're hearing my pipe bomb by the end of this. Don't think for a minute. We're not
Tell me
when
I'm telling lies. Love you, Phil.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll tell you who stands out in a minute, but I'll just down the line real quick here. I want to talk about people who don't. To me, the Dylan Harper pick is safe. He's the clear second player in the draft. Is he going to be? He may not start on this team. With Fox and Castle, he may just be a really premium 6th, 7th man. But you know what? His dad was never the first option on a team, and Ron Harper has championships. So, but for those who say, why would you do it if he's not immediately going to help? I mean, it's a copycat league, right? And you are looking at a team where the Thunder's 11th and 12th man, Ousmane Dang and Dylan Jones, they traded 3 firsts to the Knicks to move into that Dang spot, and they traded 5 seconds, ironically, also to the Knicks to get Dylan Jones, right? This was a team that was willing to hoist 8 picks into the sun just to have 11th and 12th men they liked. You build talent in the NBA today, because Dylan Jones did, I swear to God, Google this, Dylan Jones started games for the Thunder last year at different points throughout the year. So you never know when you're going to need that next guy to step up. If you have the opportunity to get it, we just saw how the Thunder did it. Just keep getting talent, keep getting talent. Edgecombe, all I'll say is until I see him and Victor Oladipo in the same room, I'm not convinced they're not the same guy. I absolutely love him playing behind McCain and Maxey there. He doesn't have to be a star right away, but my goodness, what a top 3 set of guards there. I love that team. I love that for them. Good move by them. Also getting Johnny Broome in the second to be Embiid's backup. He looked great. I love him for Auburn. I think they were one of the winners of the draft when you combine those 2 people together. And then I got to give a shout out to Charlotte here. I think, and I'll be quick about this because I know we have a lot to do, but to me, the Nets, who am I thinking here? The Nets, the Bulls, and the Wizards are in the bottom tier of hell in the East next year. They're 15, 14, 13.
Facts. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
No questions
Facts
asked.
there, man.
But Charlotte, Miami,
lies.
Toronto are 10, 11, and 12 in any order as team with 1 or 2 stars and a comically weak bench, which means Charlotte's in potential to get to the play-in. And Toronto did a great job of adding 2 ready-made players. So look at what Charlotte does. Charlotte just says, well, we can beat that. So they go out and they get Knippel. They go out and they get James. They go out and they get Kalkbrenner, the center from Creighton, to replace Mark Williams. And they go out and they get the McNeely from UConn, right? 4 guys who can immediately come in, contribute, and most importantly, be solid pieces, because Brandon Miller missed a ton of games last year. Miles Bridges has his off-the-court stories. Ball is not exactly, the definition of, solid, right? He's not a guy who's necessarily going to slow down the game and, change the fate of any game. So it was good to see them go out, get some, more win-now bodies who can contribute, who can be, Knippel should start on that team or be a 6-man, but did you maybe get an 8 through 10? Yeah, but that team needed it, and I think that makes them, contenders, or contenders for that 10th spot. Which, if you're Charlotte, you need that, right? Charlotte and Toronto have one goal: get to the play-in next year. There are young teams who need that, and I think Charlotte jumped ahead of Toronto and Miami for that, and you got to be impressed by them doing that.
Down DeMarco.
I
like the video, baby. Like the video. What's up?
I promise I'll keep this short, but. Can I give a quick pipe bomb here on Ace Bailey?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Can we get the tell me when I'm telling lies?
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Please, go for it.
Ace Bailey. Let's start with this. Who do you think you are? Not working out for anybody, having your agent tell top 5 teams don't pick you. And I'll tell you what, Mark Spears wrote that this pick reminded him of when Steph Curry wanted to get to the Knicks, and the Warriors said, we don't care that you don't want us to take you, we're taking you anyway. NBA, you owe Mark Spears dinner, breakfast, lunch, a watch, a car, whatever you need to give him, because bravo Mark Spears to try and make this pick look good. You know who this is? This is not Steph Curry. This is Ben Simmons.
Oh, wow.
This is a guy.
Savage. Give me 10 of them. Goodness gracious.
This is a guy who either through his own beliefs or through somebody telling him did not believe his high school, acumen matches up his NBA acumen. He sounds cocky, right? But then why go to Rutgers, right? Just like Ben Simmons went and hid in LSU for a year, he's going to go and hide in Rutgers. And you know why this isn't Steph Curry? Because Steph Curry had an 800 winning percentage when he was in college. He went to an Elite 8 in his second year in Davidson. He went to he only lost 3 conference games in 3 years. This was a dude who had Dylan Harper with him at Rutgers, and they had a losing record.
Tom DeMarco.
This is Ben Simmons hiding in LSU for a year, coming out on his high school, accomplishments, and that's it. And he has the nerve to say, "Don't take me. I want to go where I want." And then on top of that, he goes to the Jazz, who have openly said they're trying to move Clarkson, who have openly said they're trying to move Sexton, who George was not even paying attention at the end of the year in coaches' meetings and coaches' timeouts. So you desperately need a guard, like a true shooting guard. Trey Johnson's on the board, and you're going to take a guy who just played next to Dylan Harper? That's your move. And on top of that, this is a team that now my anger's here with the Utah Jazz, which part of this is, I don't know if you saw, Danny Ainge just nepo babied his son right into being in charge there.
Savage.
But this is a team that in the last couple of years took Isaiah Collier, who fell off a cliff his freshman year at USC, took Kyle Filipowski coming off the breeding scandal, right?
Oh, Lord.
his mom stopped talking to him.
God.
Right? And this is a team that has clearly no direction, does not know what they're doing either. They draft Cody Williams and hide him in the mountains for a year. I mean, this is not a good fit for anybody. And in many ways, I feel really bad for Ace Bailey, because this is a bad fit. This is an over cocky player. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to straight up be a disaster for Ace Bailey.
Like the video. Episode 66 of the U-Goboy podcast. That pretty much does it for the draft. I mean, it was a lackluster NFL draft, lackluster NBA draft. What is going on in the world of sports? Back-to-back stinkers, in my opinion.
Here's my thing, and again, I know nobody out there watches. I know everyone thinks I'm a lunatic for this, but I swear to God, just Google. You can Google image NBA draft 2025 panelists, WNBA 2025 draft panelists. Take a minute. Go ahead. I'll wait. Do your thing. They set up both of them exactly the same way, where what you'd consider moderator is just slightly more off-center than the two, professional basketball talkers. which does two things. One, it separates the moderator, but also it creates a clear line right to the stage. They're identical. They're both NBA products, so they both had the same idea. Yet somehow the three WNBA panelists look like they are at a desk doing a job, while meanwhile Stephen A. and his lackeys look like three businessmen who are in a dentist's office and just couldn't leave their work. Did you see this
Billy
yet?
Yahtzees. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
They are, first of all, they are in armchairs that can only be described as in a dentist's office. I have no idea where they found these things, but then they're each sitting at individual tables that look like they were stolen out of the corner of the three nearest Starbucks. Why are they not at a desk?
Billy
What on
Yahtzees.
earth is
Billy
the point of
Yahtzees.
this? In the meantime, they're all dressed completely different, which it's fine. Have your own style. But you knew that that was just reflective of the fact that they could not have a cohesive conversation, right? Because you look back the next day and all anyone's talking about is that Stephen A. rants too much and that Bob Myers is now meme city for his weird reactions to Stephen A. because they literally couldn't have a fluid conversation and they couldn't even have commentary on everybody. They literally didn't know what to say about Young Hansen when he got drafted from Portland. And in the meantime, Danny Wolf's clip package, did you see this?
No, I did not.
They showed him making a layup. They showed him starting to shoot a three, and then it cut to a crude cartoon of a representation of him and his brothers playing in the driveway
What are we
when
doing?
they were kids. I swear, go back
What
and
are
watch
we
it. It was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. Put him at a desk, make it a real show. It was insane. They are sitting in office chairs, in waiting room chairs. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And I will say it. I've been saying it since the pandemic, when the WNBA was the first organization to actually have a draft coming out of the pandemic, coming out of March 2020. The WNBA is doing the draft so much better than most leagues right now. Just somebody watch that. Someone in the NBA watch it and go, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. Because they are doing it correct. The NBA and the NFL, you're right, but the NBA did it way worse. It is bad. It is a bad product. We only watched it because we do the live show for New Roads Media. But I would have turned it off very early in the night, especially with the Knicks not having a pick. Fundamentally, god-awful show, NBA. Just miserable stuff.
And I just love the collusion, how Dallas gets the number one pick in the WNBA draft and the NBA draft. No, is anybody going to talk about that? Like we're just gonna gloss over that? That's neither here nor there.
It's your boy, U-Goboy, and my friends at New York Posse. They're gonna hook you up with some official gear. The Knicks are hotter than ever, and they're gonna get you right with some official snapbacks, beanies, official gear, official like tissue, baby. Hit that promo code below, 2024. Get 20% off on all New York Posse gear. Hit the link below, and they're gonna get you right. It's your boy, U-Goboy, Yahtzee.
But we got one more extra pipe bomb because we don't have any rapid fire because, again, it's the NBA draft. So
Right.
What is it?
What can you do rapidly?
What can you do rapidly except not watch? We gotta get some wrestling in.
Oh, please
we
go.
gotta get some wrestling in.
Oh, you brother.
We gotta get some wrestling in. Listen, Saudi Arabia happened as expected. This is in real time too, so we're recording this on a Saturday. Was it Crown Jewel? I don't know what the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. I don't know what they want to call it these days.
I don't know.
Night of Champions, yeah.
That's what we're calling it.
Night of
That's right.
Champions / Crown Jewel. They merged the two together.
Fast lane. Call it fast lane. Just man up and call it fast
This
lane.
was fast lane. This was this is international fast lane. So John Cena retains his title over CM Punk. Pretty much every babyface won. Jacob Fatu loses the U.S. Championship to Sikoa. Triple H, I love what you've done for the product. I really do. Cody is your king of the ring. No one saw that coming. I just was very underwhelmed by this fast lane. That's what it was. They hyped this up. I mean, John Cena versus Punk, that still has Mania power to it. It does. And then you waste it on an international fast lane PLE? That's what we're doing? That should have been SummerSlam's main event. Honestly. And I get they're trying to build up Cody versus Cena for the 150th time. Meanwhile, waiting in the wings, Seth Rollins is going to cash in that Money in the Bank. You could just book it. He's either going to cash in at SummerSlam, or he's going to cash in once again at Mania like he did, 10 years ago. Like, it's going to happen yet again. And I want to know when Punk is gonna finish the story.
Yeah.
like when? Because yes, I get it. Like, I'm over the moon that he's back in WWE. I'm so happy that he's back. Should have never left, but I completely understand why he left, Vince McMahon aside and his nonsense. But it's like, is he gonna have to finally win the Royal Rumble? Is he gonna have to win the Money in the Bank for the third time? Like, when is he gonna have his title run? Because the Cena title run, it was nice. I mean, he gets the record over Ric Flair, but I've just been very underwhelmed. What I will say that I did enjoy, I enjoyed the trolling back and forth of Punkonomics and and the pipe bomb by Cena. That has been the only thing good that I've taken. Me and Mark were talking about it in the pre-pod before the show. That was amazing. I rewatched both before the pay-per-view today, and that was some good stuff. That was very well done. Shout out to Bobby Roode. He put that together behind the scenes. But I'm just not really a big fan of what's going on now. It's just there's no pizzazz. There's no pizzazz. And again, you're running back Mania. It was supposed to be in New Orleans. It's going to be in Vegas again. And is Travis Scott going to be in the main event yet again? Like, is it going to be Cody versus Cena Part 6? Like, what are we building up to over the next few months? It's a no for me, dog. It's straight Randy Jackson. Like, Bongo, what are your thoughts?
No, you're not wrong. And honestly, they are so confident that Cena. That's the end of the sentence, right? They're so confident that you will tune in to watch Cena, see what Cena's doing. We all know it has to end, right? Cena can't be the champion 1 year from today. He can't be the champion 7 months from today, right?
Right.
So you're watching it knowing even more than ever what's going to happen. And I think as a result, they're just putting everything on pause and saying, just enjoy the ride. Just appreciate Cena for who he is. Just appreciate what's going on for what it is, because we're not worried about storytelling right now, because you can't get cute with storytelling right now, because it has a foregone conclusion, right?
Facts.
It has to end. I am with you, though, in the larger scale, that where we are right now, and part of it is that Money in the Bank has lost its luster. I'm sorry.
Facts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this gap of time from Mania to SummerSlam, because I think we can safely say SummerSlam is definitively number 3 at this point. They talk about the big 4, they talk about the big 5. It's the big 3, in my opinion, and everything else, then is secondary. You got to figure out what to do here from April to August. And I kind of wonder, is the move rearrange this so that Survivor Series falls somewhere in late spring? Money in the Bank falls basically right after SummerSlam, and then rearrange everything from there, because Survivor Series gets hype no matter what.
Yeah.
It gets a lot of people involved, and it doesn't necessarily have to ever have storytelling. It can be its own thing and just like David S. Pumpkins and come and go off into the sun, right? Whereas if Money in the Bank kicks off what you would consider sort of the ordinary time in wrestling, that could give it more of its own attention, more of its own push. Who has the Money in the Bank? What are they doing? Their desperation to try and get into headlining Royal Rumble, or sometimes it'll work against the Money in the Bank person. They would rather be in the Royal Rumble, so are they going to move the Money in the Bank? Are they going to tank it on purpose? You could have that storyline going on. So I would consider that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, switching those two around. But this year particularly, they are just very confident John Cena is enough of a draw, and they're being lazy, to your original point.
No, they are, because it's like the video. Because again, what they're doing is they basically blocked off this year for the Cena farewell tour. That's the year. That's it. That's the draw. And my thing is, okay, you still have your top tier. You got your guys that's the future that you're absolutely going to elevate or whatnot. And waiting in the wings, you got NXT guys that you're going to bring along eventually down the road. It's just like they're shoving Cena like in everyone's faces, and rightfully so. He's earned this farewell tour. He's earned it. But it's just like, to me, I would have been so comfortable if he would have won the title at Mania, because I had a strong feeling he was going to beat Cody and do it. and then he just drops it like the next day. Like drop it, and then go to filming Peacemaker. You see what I'm saying? It's taking away from the build-up to these main events in these pay-per-views. Like, I was not excited about this one. And I'm happy that SummerSlam is going to be in Jersey at MetLife. I actually might pop up to it or whatnot, but I'm not excited for the same main event from Mania. Right. I'm not excited for Cody Rhodes Cena Part 2. Like, I'm not. Why would I? Again, is Travis Scott going to be the guest referee? Is The Rock, who TKO changed his mind at the last minute and yanked him from the program? Is the final boss gonna show up? Like, why should I get excited for this? For it to be a kind of predictable ending. Like, Cody's the one who ends and buries Cena and sends him off to film another season of Peacemaker, or we're just gonna keep Cena going for a few more months and just continue to milk it. It just I'm not excited about it. It just doesn't do it for me.
No, and they did a really unfortunate thing by making part of his initial promos. Remember when he got up and he literally counted the number of contractual obligations he has this year?
Facts.
Well, we know what's going to happen.
Facts.
You literally counted down how many more times we have to see you.
Facts.
So we know exactly how this is going to play out. Now, the only thing, because I'm with you. At best, I'll go and I'll tailgate that thing and then go watch it from a nearby
I think that's
hotel
both
or something.
That's both of us.
If you're looking for any reason to get excited, the question is, how many of Cena's remaining fights don't end cleanly? Because if he loses with interference from somebody, well, now that somebody comes out and says, hey, Cody, you owe me a shot because I helped you.
Facts.
So if there's any life on Mars left in the WWE writing room, you're thinking, how can we get a third person involved in that final fight? But we know what's happening. We know he has to lose it somewhere in the next 6 months and 2 days, and most likely to Cody. And then hopefully there's a plan for that afterwards. Otherwise, it's just, hey, at least it's Royal Rumble season again, hooray. But they really should get somebody else involved in the final fight to have a natural storyline.
Well, the match of the year, I hope you're ready for Gunther versus Goldberg.
This is
give me 10 Don DeMarcos, man, and 10. Actually, keep those tracks going. Keep it going, Marv. Keep it going.
My personal opinion on that.
Marv has walked out of the control room. You guys can't see it. The Marv cam's not up yet. Give me some more trashes. What the hell's Goldberg doing? And the special guest referee for that is Bret Hart.
Here's how you make that one interesting. Gunther versus Goldberg in a Falls Count Somewhere match. They don't tell you where you have to pin the other guy, and we just let them spend the rest of their lives attempting to pin each other. And like 12 years from now, Goldberg has announced the winner of that match. That's the only way that can be entertaining.
Somehow, some way, it's still going to be a 5-minute match. Savage. I'm sorry, Bill Goldberg still can't wrestle. I'm sorry. I'm Bret Hart. I'm with you forever.
This is more miserable than the time you told me. What was it? Sports Illustrated or someone had the list of the 10 most exciting games of football.
Oh yeah, that's
and it was like Texans Seahawks or something.
It was like Viking Seahawks was on the list.
This is the Viking Seahawks of wrestling.
This is a Thursday night football game.
Their names
on Prime.
Right, their names, so we're gonna watch them. But we regret and we recognize they're not as good as we give them credit for.
Well, listen, WWE Saturday main event is NFL TNF.
That's fair. That's a very fair comparison.
That's where that match is going to be. That's where that match belongs. And I think it's a Peacock exclusive. Oh. And Lord knows I won't be watching that. But round of applause. Oh, yeah. Episode 66, it was a little somber. Marvelous called it out. But again, it's the NBA season.
I blame the NBA.
You did this to us.
Get better, NBA.
Exactly. But we'll be back. The NFL season is right around the corner. We'll be recapping some Yankees as well. Before you know it, the playoffs will be here. You know what I mean? But, we'll be back. We're going to sign off just like this. That's the belt. Some guy named John Cena who's balding, he has that belt. That's the other belt. Sting had that, and some guy named Bill Goldberg who can't wrestle. He had that one too. That's Mongo. He's got a beard. This is myself. I'm U-Goboy. I got Nigeria. Let's go Super Eagles. Nigeria is in the building. Marvelous has amazing, marvelous hair.
Bravery up.
We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. Oh yeah. Peace. Yahtzee.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
You go, boy.
Yahtzee.